let's talk. Before we jump into this, let me do the spiel. Thank you, patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to become one of the special level Muddy Cult follower, again, hit that link in the description below. You get early access to stuff that I post here, and schedules to the Discord, and what's going to be posted on the blog, as well as granted access to request things from me. And also you get to see exclusive videos that I post there, because there are some stuff that doesn't make it here, because y'all are special. But it is completely voluntary, and if you just want to see my content here, the best way to see that and know when it's up is by subscribing below, because I know more than half of you just lurk around and peep my stuff, but y'all don't commit. What are y'all doing? Pull the trigger. Join. We're here to have fun. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about Black Butler, Volume 30. If you haven't watched my previous Let's Talk about volumes 28 and 29, definitely check that out. It's right there. I'm gonna wait for y'all to watch that, and then come back to this one and we'll chit chat about it. Alright, glad you're all caught up. So if you have not read Volume 30 of Black Butler, I'm gonna be spoiling stuff, so here's your warning right here. Go read the book. Go read some chapters online. Do whatever is most comfortable for your reading ability, because I'm about to tell all. Alright, you ready? Okay. Just a brief feeling of how I felt about 28 and 29, which was absolute confusion, and I was totally getting my metaphorical life jacket on to jump ship, because I'm like, I don't know where we're going, like, you're not telling me anything, I'm very confused, like, it's a lot going on, but not anything going on. That feeling. I don't like that feeling. But 30, someone on this ship called Kuroshitsuji tapped me on the shoulder and was like, hey, listen, here's the plan. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. So the last volume ended with Mayrin on this like standoff trying to save Ran Mao, and I am kind of glancing at my notes just a little bit because I did write a few things down. And I'm like, okay, cliffhanger, but this is kind of like a semi-ineffective cliffhanger, because I'm like, I don't know where we're going with this journey of this like twin reveal thing. Undertaker's just not a completely good guy. I don't know. But the main bulk of this volume dealt with Mayrin's past, which is something that hasn't been touched on from what I can remember. I'm trying to think if like it got mentioned a little bit in the anime, but I highly doubt it, because the anime came out years before this volume did. I'm sure they had some talkings with the author and stuff, and there might have been some sprinkles of like how she came to be part of the Phantom Hive family. I'm sure that was sprinkled in, but you know, I've been reading this series for many years, so it's hard to remember everything. But it goes into her backstory, as she's an orphan, and most orphans in that time period like kind of banded together and they tried to scrap what they could off the street, and sometimes you had to resort to thievery, which she did. her two buddies would go out and seek out these very rich people in England or whatever city that they're in, and she would be the lookout. She was very good at aiming and shooting her target from afar, even though she can't see up close, which I know is a thing that has been brought up definitely in the anime. So it's most likely brought up in the manga, which is why she has glasses. She is very much farsighted. And most people who have been in this journey with Black Butler already know that she is a good long-range shooter. So this is the origin of that. She used to like have like a slingshot and have like pebbles hit like these women's ears to knock off their earrings, and they would sell those expensive jewelry to get money to buy food and survive. Well, one day they get caught by the mafia, and so they threaten her to assassinate a very important person, and they would spare her friends. But of course they lied, killed her friends because they were weak and they were able to be caught, and she was not able to be caught. I might be mixing up the order here, but I know her friends died, and they recruit her as an assassin. So they trained her to use guns to do long range shots, and her goal was to assassinate Lau and Ciel later. If you've been keeping up with the series, of course, Lau is the guy who has been working with Mayrin, and this is how like all this slowly comes together in their meeting. So she goes to the Phantom Hive mansion to assassinate Ciel. Of course, obviously, it completely fails and falls apart. So she is taken in by Sebastian, who is just one hell of a butler and knew what was coming, and tries to get information on who hired her, why she was trying to kill his master, so on and so forth. If it wasn't already established before, because they present this young kid as a young boy, and they never really mention it that much. There's like a tiny hint of like maybe they're like, oh, I see that's kind of an advantage and kind of cool. Like, you're a woman who has such skill. So there's a moment when Sebastian does undress her to get her out of these wet clothes so she doesn't get sick and stuff, and try to calm down her anger and, you know, get her on their side with food and a warm place to stay, so on and so forth. And it reveals that she is a woman, so she's not used to that. But it makes sense because she was around a lot of boys, and, you know, you just kind of blend in. And she hid that part of her, which I thought was, you know, it's an origin story, or at least a detail that has been used in other stories, but it's still very fascinating. So Sebastian calms her down and gives her a new wardrobe and tells her, like, hey, if you're going to be part of the Phantom Hive, the mansion working here, you have to blend in. And so they suit her with the clothing that you know her in, but make it comfortable enough for her to continue to be an assassin, to live up to her nickname, Owl, because she can see far away and at night. While she's like working for the Phantom Hives, for Ciel and Sebastian and so forth, as the staff, as the maid, and learning how to do the duties of a maid, she's also a little apprehensive that Ciel and also Lau and the Chinese mafia are going to come back to kill her, because they used to be her target when she was in the mafia, but now that she has turned to the other side, now she's afraid that the people that she worked for are now going to come back to get her. But she's in very good hands, and we all know this because we've been following this group for a very long time. All of this was very fascinating, even though you kind of know where it's going to end up because of all the previous volumes. I mean, this is volume 30 and we're getting an origin story on one of the people, on one of the main characters, one of the main supporting characters. We've had 29 volumes way before this to know, like, who Marion is. We know she's the clumsy maid with the big glasses that can't see up close. She drops everything, she destroys everything she touched, but she's a great shot. She is a great sniper. She will always hit her target. But it was still very fascinating, and I looked at that passenger in this metaphorical Black Butler boat, and I was like, alright, I'll stay. But I'm keeping the life vest on just in case I'm gonna jump off this ship, because I still don't know where this story is gonna go in this arc of reviving a secret twin. So reading the preview for the next volume, volume 31, it's supposed to be focusing on Baldo and Lau at a sanatorium looking for an ex-serviceman, which sounds interesting. So if it follows this pattern of, like, breaking down each team that is trying to take down the Undertaker's plan and what the real CL is doing, they'll probably focus on, I think his name is Finnegan, the gardener, him, and whoever that he's teamed up with, because I honestly don't remember. Maybe in volume 31 they'll go into Baldo's backstory, because I don't think they really touched on his backstory either. They might, if they do that pattern, I wouldn't mind it, because this was very interestingly put together and told, and I was definitely intrigued and I was enjoying every page. So by the end, where it left off with them on this, like, coming back to the present of the standoff with this, like, other woman, I'm like, now this is an effective cliffhanger, because now I'm kind of curious where this is gonna go. Is Marin gonna survive? Is Renmao going to survive? Probably won't know for maybe 2 or 3 volumes from now. I don't know, but right now, still gonna stay on board. Now, for the purpose of this video, I did take a snapshot of the preview of the manga. So I'm gonna read what it says in the back of the book, which is on my phone, because I was like, I'm gonna take a snippet of this picture of what's to come in volume 31. While Mayrin and Ranmao were on their mission at Baron Heathfield's manor, Baldo and Lau were at a sanatorium for ex-servicemen. The two encounter a nurse who guides soldiers wounded in conflicts and thought to be beyond hope back to society. Is the miracle healer, in quotes, providing medical care or casting spells? So that intrigues me very much. I'm cautiously excited to see where this is gonna go. But if I'm right that each servant under the Phantom Hive Manor is getting their spotlight of delving into their background as deeply as they did in this one, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that, because the story was told in a very interesting and entertaining manner, so I'm alright with that. But, this is a big but, See it? I'm kind of nervous what they're gonna do after they explore these backgrounds, because I'm still not super crazy about this arc in the manga. It's just very WTF. Also, is this going anywhere kind of feeling, and I don't like that feeling where I don't know where I'm going, and if there's a point, am I going to be disappointed once we reach our destination? Because I know once we do, and it hits the conclusion of said arc, there's gonna be a whole nother arc that I'm gonna have to, like, enjoy. So, I'll admit, so far, this is the weakest arc in the journey of me reading Black Butler. I'm excluding the anime for obvious reasons, but where are we going? Where are we going? That's all I am asking. Not sure how pointless this talk video was, but I just needed to get that out there, my thoughts on volume 31, no, on volume 30, because I'm like, well, it's getting a little more interesting. I'm still concerned. Very, like, I think I'm within reason with my concern. Tell me, guys, what y'all think about the trajectory with the Black Butler series. Are you just as confused and semi-uninterested as I am, or maybe you have some other opinions on where we're going with this arc? I would love to start a discussion about this, because I really enjoy the series, I really do, and I don't want to lose it. I don't want to drop it. Not this far into the game. We've gotten so far with these characters. But I am curious what everyone thinks. If you enjoyed this entry of the Let's Talk series, I don't know if I'm gonna do another Black Butler talk. But I'm going to try to, like, I don't know. These topics kind of come randomly. But, yeah. We'll see. We'll see how volume 31 goes, if it's worth talking about. But, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.